Hello, Happy New Year! I'm going to share a quick story with you guys that we just heard today. And it goes like this. There was a tribe living in the valley, and another tribe came from the mountains and ransacked their village and took a baby back with them. And the tribe in the valley was outraged and decided to send their strongest men after them to get this baby back. And their strongest men didn't know the mountain terrain, obviously like the mountain tribe did, so they got stuck at a certain part and they couldn't keep going. And they tried and they tried and they tried for several days. And finally they gave up and they were like, we can't do this. And as they turned around to leave, they saw a figure walking towards them. And then they realized it was the mother of this baby walking towards them, and she was actually coming down the mountain with the baby strapped to her back. And they were like, what? Like astonished. And they were like, we couldn't make it and we're stronger than you. Like, how did you do this? And her response to them was, it wasn't your baby. And so tonight we're going to be talking to you guys about why sometimes people get certain results or hit goals that they're going for in their life. And maybe sometimes you get stuck. We're Peter and Joy and we're live for 5.
Hey guys. So we wanted to touch on a lot of those questions we get. We've had questions from people before. Hey, just a few days ago, looking at our vision board, and someone saying,
a few people,
what's your secret, or how do I get that, or even somebody was saying, hey, I've been working at this for a few weeks and I'm not seeing the results that I want, or I'm not seeing results at all. Totally. And just a quick disclaimer, hey, we haven't always been like this.
No, we have not.
I remember you would ask me questions about right around the new year. Hey, so what are some of the things you want to do? What's your 5-year plan, or what's this year's plan, or whatever?
I used to ask him for a date to go like, let's talk about our 5-year plan, or even just our 1-year plan. And he'd be like, I have no idea where we're going to be in 5 years or even a year. Like, I can't plan that. And now, look at us with our board for the year.
Or maybe I would have some mythical plan like in the future, but I had no next step for how to get there. I had some great big audacious something or another, but I had no real actionable item that I could work on. Usually my goals around New Year would be pay off debt, not do stupid things to blow up our marriage again, not act out, that sort of thing. But it was more like, what am I trying to get rid of?
Instead of, what are positive things I'm working towards?
Yeah, analogous for somebody else, maybe it might be, I want to lose the weight, or I want to, usually
stop
it's...
a certain addiction or something.
Stop something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we wanted to talk about just 3 things that really spoke to us. And the first one was, when you're thinking about those big goals that you're going for, climbing the mountain to get your baby back type of goals. When we're thinking about that, it has to start with the inside of you, not some external, outwardly focused, some superficial thing that may or may not mean anything 2 weeks from now or whatever.
And when we say it starts with the internal side of you, we're not talking easy things to do. We're not saying like do a workout or try to eat better or things like that. We're talking about hard, scary, intentional work. And I know that sounds vague, so we gave you some answers to help you pinpoint. When it comes to doing inner work on you, how do you know where to start? Well, here's 3 questions to help you get going. The first one is, what do you need to mourn? I was thinking about this the other day and just thinking about my grief journey, and I realized all of a sudden we all have things in our life that we need to grieve and that we haven't. We all, just even from growing up in a fallen world with fallen parents, have things that we have not grieved, and you will be held back by not allowing yourself to grieve that, because it is affecting how you act today. It is affecting how you make decisions. It is affecting the way you view yourself or your self-talk, or then how you are with other people. So what do you need to grieve or mourn is the first question.
And the second question you can ask yourself is, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid to face? And not just something superficial, but what's really holding you back when you really sit down and think about what's going on inside of you? What are those things that are really, really terrifying for you?
Inside, not external things that you can't control, inner things. Like, what is your baggage? What is your crap in there that's your skeleton that you're afraid to face?
And then the third thing is, when you started your journey in the past, when you said, I'm gonna stop doing this, or I'm gonna start doing this, what's gotten in your way? What's tripped you up along the way? A lot of times we have those obstacles, and we think of obstacles as, oh man, that's something that's just not, I don't want to deal with that. That got me in the past. Actually, an obstacle is part of the journey. It's what makes the journey. But you need to figure out what that obstacle is that's tripped you up in the past, so you can figure out, how does that fit into my journey, and how does that impact me along the way?
Well, typically there's a pattern there, but then I would also say watch out for noble obstacles. Not all obstacles are, oh, this thing that just messed me up. A noble obstacle is something that we feel honorable for allowing to get in the way. We can say, oh, well, I'm giving my life for this. Or, oh, I'm, not taking care of me because I'm going to do this, for other people or something. And it comes across as noble, and people give you praise for that, but really it's an obstacle.
Yeah.
So getting honest with yourself and recognizing that.
And then one last question I would ask is, when you evaluate your big goal, are you actually chasing that goal for you, or is it you chasing someone else's goal? Something that came along a long time ago, perhaps, that just you really assimilated that and it became part of you, but it's actually not yours. You're chasing something that's somebody else's goal.
Or you're chasing it because you think that's what other people expect or want, and you want to please them.
Yeah.
So
the second point we wanted to make, growth takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So someone might say, hey, I've been at this for a couple of weeks. I've been exercising, or I've been at the office making the phone calls I needed to make to try to get my sales numbers up, or whatever that big, huge goal is. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm not seeing the results that I needed. And I guess the response I would have is, growth takes time. It took a lifetime of decisions to get you to where you're at right now. It's not going to be a week or two, snap of the fingers or whatever, to get you out of it.
Well, people see us where we are today, and like the goals we set for next year and stuff, and we've been seeing our counselor for 2 years and 4 months now, and I've been doing my own like groups and personal development stuff for like 20 months now. So this wasn't like a, hey, we did this for a month or two. It's been a couple years of us 2 years ago deciding to start doing things differently, and now we're starting to see those big changes.
It's not a magic remote on your TV where you see that infomercial. Just push the button and suddenly beautiful things happen.
The easy button.
There's no quantum leaps. There's no easy button. It's not something that you can just magically do. A lot of times your perception is, I can just fix it right now. I just get it over with. And then that's when you trip yourself up. That's kind of like the noble obstacle along the way that destroys your journey.
We would all be walking around with six packs if we could really get abs for $39.95. Anyways.
And then that just kind of plays into the last part, perfectionism.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to end with perfectionism. And this was a quote that we heard a few weeks ago, which was awesome. I wanted to read it. The day after perfect is what separates finishers from starters.
We all think that when we start something, it means we're going to do it perfectly. And whether that's subconscious or conscious, that's just how we think. Like, I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to start my new routine and I'm going to exercise 5 days a week and I'm going to eat perfectly and blah, blah, blah. And then life happens and a day comes where we don't get a workout in, or we blow our diet, and then we think, well, now I just ruined the whole thing. I shouldn't even keep trying. And I'm like, don't do it, because that's such a perfectionism lie, telling you that you can't move forward in imperfection. When really the secret to success is learning how to move forward imperfectly. Like, we are never going to do it perfectly, you guys, and that's not what it's about in the first place. So it's about embracing imperfection and life happening and learning how to move forward imperfectly and being okay with that, letting yourself off the mat.
Years ago, I would put this huge series of pages up on my wall, blocked out every single 15-minute interval in my day, starting at 7 a.m., ending at 7 p.m. for years.
I didn't even notice.
And a few days in, of
Blew
course,
it.
I blew it. I messed that 15-minute interval up.
I was going to say.
And, oh man, that just started a cascading chain of actions and
totally.
reactions, which is based on shame. I messed up the 15 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
And then, okay, a few months later, big vision board, all these series of steps up there, messed up the next 15 minutes.
Of course. All right. That's all we have for you guys tonight. I hope this helps as you're thinking about 2018 and things that you want to see happen. Let us know if you like it. Leave us a comment or ask us a question. We love to answer questions you guys have, or feel free to share with someone you know. We will see you guys next week. Have a good night.